and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Hump Day. And today, like I said last week, I ended last week's episode by telling you that I have something special for you today because it's something that I'm going to try out new for this season. And that is, today is actually March 31st, which means it's the last day of the first quarter. So I'm a huge, as you guys know, I'm a huge proponent of going over your numbers, of course, from a business standpoint, but I'm going to give you some layout plans of what you should be doing from a digital marketing standpoint at the end of the first quarter. So this is a very important episode. So I want you to take notes and think about a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking to you about today, because it's going to be very, very essential for the next quarter of how we're going to move this forward. Before I get to the content of today's episode, I want to just remind you guys that if you ever want to be a guest on our show, just give us a call at 888-416-7752 and schedule that, or you can send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. Let us know what topic you want to talk about, and we'll put you on the show. We're always looking for people who want to either promote their business, promote their services, or what have you, as long as it has something to do with a digital marketing that's going to help you, the audience. So, anywho, that is all I have today in terms of housekeeping. So, for the rest of this episode, I'm going to be, and it's not going to be a very long one, okay? I want to be talking to you about, again, 3 critical steps to review your first quarter results. Very important, folks. Very important. I want you guys to take this seriously because it could make or break what's going to happen in quarter number 2. So let's dive deep here. So it's over now. First quarter's over. I want you to do like I said, it's the 3 critical steps to review your first quarter results. So step number 1, I'm going to dive right in. No fluff here. No fluff. Like I said, it's not going to be a very long episode. I want you to just listen to it, take notes, and then go for it. Step number 1 is you just don't compare actual to plan. So I'm hoping, based on if you've been listening to this show, okay, I say, by November, October, maybe even end of October, middle of November, you should start laying out the next year, right? So you have created this plan, and let's say as part of your plan, you said you were going to run more Facebook ads, or you were going to dive into Google AdWords, or you were going to, do some SEO. Now, SEO is a little different because with SEO, it's going to take time. You can't measure SEO this way. But you can measure lead generation activities this way. So let's just say you said, for the first quarter, and I want you to break it down into quarters always when you set your yearly plan. You don't set it up as, this is what I'm going to happen the whole year. No, you don't want to do that. You want to go quarter by quarter. especially from a digital marketing standpoint, because digital marketing changes so often. And that's another topic for another episode. I don't want to bore you with that, but you definitely want to go quarter by quarter. So you don't just compare actual to plan. Here's what I mean by that. So let's just say you planned on doing some more Facebook ads, okay? And you assumed you were going to get, 90 leads. So a lead, you were predicting a lead a day. And so you were going to get 90 leads by the end of the first quarter. So now, let's just say now here we are sitting March 31st, 2021. And you notice, you're not getting 90 leads. You got, 60. Let's just make the numbers really easy. So what you want to do is but you want to analyze the numbers. What does that mean? Okay. Did those 60 leads, I know you wanted 90, but you got 60. Of those 60s, how many converted into a actual customer of yours? How many is sitting on the dental chair if you're a dentist? How many of them has hired you for your law services if you're an attorney? How many of them actually looked up some stuff for HVAC if you're an HVAC company, etc. So you want to look at that first to determine if it's a success or not. But you don't want to compare. That's what I mean by you don't want to compare actual to plan. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that and then say, oh, this didn't work. I didn't get the 90, so I'm going to dump it. A lot of companies do that. Digital marketing is a result, especially when you're doing lead generation, okay, is a result-based process. Not, oh, I'm going to compare these numbers to this number and that's going. No, you can't do it that way. So make sure that you don't compare actual to plan. Now, all right, before I go into suggestions, let me go into step number 2 or suggestion number 2. You want to self-evaluate your strategic initiative. So if you had a strategic plan around, let's just go stick with Facebook ads or any kind of lead generation activities. Let's just do it that way. A lead generation activity. What, you want to find out a few things of what happened in the first 90 days of the year. So you want to self-evaluate what went, how you handled the strategic initiative. Maybe it's you hired a digital marketing agency to do it. Maybe that was the strategic initiative. Or maybe you hired someone on as a, I'm going to hire Susie as my digital marketing guru, Or maybe you didn't hire them, or Susie was already part of it, and you just said, hey, you seem to be always on social media. You seem to be understanding digital. Now you're promoted to digital marketing guru. Whatever it is, what it is, you want to self-evaluate the strategic initiative. What kind of result? And I don't want to say results in this case because this is different. This is strategy, and a lot of times strategy, and this is why I'm going to talk about this, how important it is in the first quarter. Sometimes strategy takes a little time to evolve, to materialize. So if for whatever reason that strategy that you've laid out is not working to your advantage, doesn't mean that it's not working. Okay, you want to self-evaluate it. You want to be able to sit down with Susie or yourself if you're doing it, or the agency that you hired, and say, okay, first 90 days are over. Let's go in. Let's see what's going on. Maybe you selected the wrong service. A lot of times, small businesses, and I've been doing small businesses, like I said, since 2007. A lot of times, small businesses will say, "Oh, I'm going to select service X because this service is cheaper," but that's not what they need. A lot of times, what they need is, service Y, because service Y is going to give them results quicker. Maybe a little bit more expensive, but hey, it is what it is. So this is why you want to self-evaluate it. It may not mean that you have to dump this thing and not go on with it for quarter two. It just means self-evaluate. Now, the third one, last and not least, is look to the horizon. This is a little bit of what we're talking about with step number 2, but a little bit more strategic. So after the first two, after you've you have not compared the actual to plan, and after you've actually self-evaluate your strategic initiatives, you want to look to the horizon. You want to actually look to see what is in store for you in quarter two. Do not, and I repeat, do not go to 3 and 4 yet. Don't think about quarters 3 and 4. You want to look at this from bite size. A lot of time, I know this sounds obvious, and people say, "Frank, yeah, this is obvious." I understand it, but I cannot begin to tell you how many people don't actually do it. How many people don't actually go bite size? They go, "Well, I got the results. Let me see what's going on for the next 12 months or the next 9 months." No, you don't want to do that. You want to bite size it, because as you make different improvements, you will start seeing different results, especially from a digital marketing standpoint, because again, digital marketing changes so often. And, for instance, it could be in the middle of a change. I'll give you an example. Just recently, Google, and this doesn't change that often, for me, so maybe this is not a good example, but I'll give you one. I'm going to give you that same example anyway. Google just changed a few things about their Google Analytics product, and it's supposedly for better tracking purposes, and so on and so forth. So if that's the case, let's see what, that's a change of how different you're going to measure your traffic on your website. So, there's a learning curve there. And then Facebook is forever changing things in their algorithm, forever changing things in their tools to use for lead generation, etc. So again, when it comes to that kind of stuff, you really, 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 really want to just focus on what's going on the next 3 months. So look to the horizon. Okay, so you see what worked. So let's go back to the first example. Again, evaluate. Okay, I wanted 90, and I got 60. Of those 60 leads that I got through my digital marketing efforts, could have been Google AdWords. It could have been, LinkedIn ads. It could have been Facebook ads, etc., etc. Whatever medium you said you wanted to use to get leads, you got them. Now you got 60. Evaluate. How much did those leads cost you? How much did they cost you? What is your cost per lead? And then don't stop at the cost per lead. What is your cost per acquisition? Very important stuff, folks. This is not, you don't want to toy around with this, because now for quarter two, you want to improve on these numbers. So now let's just assume, I don't want you to go back and say, "Oh, so since I got 60, I'm going to, so quarter number 2, I'm just going to ask for 60, the same amount. No, keep going for the 90. You want to tweak your ad campaign. Maybe if you're running a Google AdWords campaign, maybe it's a seasonal business, and maybe in your since quarter 2 is spring and the beginning of summer, maybe you're gonna crush it. Maybe you're gonna blow that 90 number out of the water. You're gonna you're gonna get 120 leads as opposed to 90 that you're shooting for. So it all depends on why it is, and that's the beauty of digital marketing. You kind of have to ride the wave as it's going up and down, because if you don't, you're gonna get stuck in the wave, and you're gonna get tossed like a surfer. Those of you who surf know what I'm talking about. Anyway, not that I surf, but anyway, I digress. I go back to the topic at hand here. So that's the main focus, folks. That is the main focus. Really look now to the horizon of what you want quarter 2 to look like from a digital marketing standpoint. Maybe you want to do a little bit more social media. Maybe, again, it doesn't have to be lead gen. I've been focusing a lot on lead gen when I saw cost per lead, cost per acquisition, and all that kind of stuff, because that's the sexy stuff. Because it's all about revenue growth, right? You want to grow your revenue, but it doesn't always have to be about lead gen. Maybe you want to focus more a little bit on SEO. You want to focus more on brand marketing, get your word out there, be all over the place. Maybe you want to up your game a little bit and get into some omni-channel marketing. What does that look like? There's a lot of different things from a digital marketing aspect of what's going on. Maybe you took on a project late last year to relaunch your branding. Maybe you want to change your website, the colors of your website. Maybe you just want to have a different layout. Again, not everything has to be lead gen, but whatever that is, you want to look to the horizon and make sure that whatever you're doing, you're always evaluating it from a 90-day perspective. Each quarter, sit down with, your team. And if you don't have a team, if you have an external team, let's say you have a digital marketing agency that works with you, sit down with them. That's part of your team. Clients of mine consider me their team. Whenever they have team meetings, they include me. And it's a lot easier now with Zoom. Everybody's using Zoom, so it's a lot easier. It used to be a little bit more challenging back in the day when they didn't want to, they didn't trust the technology, if you will, as much as they do now. But now they say, hey, Frank, can you join our team meeting next week? I said, yeah, sure. What's the time? Send me the Zoom link. Boom, and I'm there. And I suggest, whoever you're working with, do the same thing. Involve them in that, because that way, if you're not doing it in-house, obviously, that way they know exactly what they need to strive for every quarter. Okay, they're looking for, they got 60 leads this past quarter, and this next one they're shooting for 120. Okay, let's see what we can do. So, and they want to, consider your digital marketing agency your partner, because that's important as you move forward in quarter 2 and beyond. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. Just like I said, it's not going to be a very long episode. I just felt it's very important that you really, really hone in on what happened the first quarter from a digital marketing standpoint. And I'm talking about everything, not just lead gen. How's your social media presence out there? You're getting a lot more, views and all that kind of stuff. And that's important to keep that momentum going into quarter number 2. With that, folks, that is it for this episode. I'm going to bid farewell. I will see you guys next week. I'm going to have another super duper topic for you guys. And I know you're going to love it. So until next week, that's it for now. Take care, folks, and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.